Hi everyone, it's Matt Wallace from Focus Forward at Xavier L'Avenir with another Essential Skills methodology video. So because this is a methodology video, it's going to make more sense to the people who have taken some of the mentoring training from the Focus Forward regional mentors, but anyone in our agencies can watch it. The topic of today's video is the writing skill. So writing is one of the 9 essential skills. And as always, we're talking about contextual, task-based writing. We're not talking about writing essays or stories in school. It's writing for at home or on the job. So writing that's required to complete a task. So just some examples of what can be included in writing would be writing simply your own signature, filling out forms, writing a note or memo, whether it's a reminder to yourself or for someone else, making a sign like an out of order sign for a vending machine or something like that, having a yard sale. Um, it could include taking messages. Of course, it can get really complicated, like writing policy or even writing stories if it's a job. Writing is often combined with digital technology. So if you're doing any of those above tasks, if you're doing them on a computer, then you're doing both of those skills at once, writing and digital technology. So you could be writing an email. You could be filling out forms online. You could be making signage using Microsoft Word or some other software. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at some activities that we can do to enhance a client's writing skills. So actually, first I'm going to show you what we don't do in essential skills. So the activity you see in front of you now, I would call this a writing drill or a printing drill. Note it doesn't matter whether it's writing, print, or printing, or letters or full words or sentences. We don't do this sort of activity because there's no context, there's no reason to do it, and it's not a task. So this is sort of thing we don't do in essential skills, no drills like this. Okay, some of the things we can do. Here's an example of a phone message sheet, a simple writing exercise that could be done at work or at home to take a message for someone. A fun activity I did when I taught essential skills was we did a unit on being a waiter, waitress, or restaurant hostess or host. So they would write the specials. So you could use just simply a whiteboard or a chalkboard, or what I used to do is laminate blank white pieces of paper, and they would be their own kind of mini specials board where they could practice being creative with the specials board. I'd give them a situation such as it's wing night or a meal of the special meal of the day or a dessert or something like that, and they would practice kind of using calligraphy to write that. Okay, and one of my favorite writing resources, I'm just going to bring it up here. You've heard me talk about WorkWrite probably several times. So WorkWrite Book 3, however, I haven't mentioned. WorkWrite Book 3 is called Forms and Other Documents. So there's a lot of opportunities to practice their writing skill here. They have tons of activities, but I'm not even going to show you those activities. I'm going to go to the back of the book, and there's a section called blank forms. And the blank forms are the forms that are used in the activities in the book, but not filled out so that you can make your own activities. And it's really easy to do. So they're all authentic forms, authentic workplace or real life materials, which is a must for essential skills. So the first one's a real easy, useful activity. just like in New Brunswick, if there's an emergency, you call 911, but all of these emergency agencies also have non-emergency numbers. So you could use your phone book and practice document use skills at the same time, looking up these phone numbers and then writing them into the form. So simple writing. Let's get to this one. Okay, so every agency should have a first aid kit somewhere, and you should always be checking it every once in a while to make sure it's still stocked. So here's a first aid supply monthly checklist. So you could keep it simple and get them to write the names of the item. And under the third column where it says on hand, they write how many there is. But you can also make it more complicated. And this would take a little bit of pre-work from you, but putting the amount required, in other words, how many should there be if the kit was full. So for example, you could put band-aids required 50, and then the learner counts on hand 33. So the math, the numeracy would be 50 minus 33, and then the fourth column is the quantity to restock, so they would put 17. This is one of my favorite activities as well for writing. Simple form. It's a hazard report. So I used to make kind of fake workplace hazards. It could have just been a simple water spill on the floor or something like that. And we would fill out the form for it. So it actually has two opportunities. So the top part to be completed by the employee, in other words, whoever finds the hazard, they fill out these 4 pieces of information, and then they become the supervisor and switch with another learner. They fill out the date corrected, and what was done to correct the hazard could be simply mopping up that puddle or something like that. A simple employee information form to fill out their own basic information. I think that's all the ones I'm going to look at through this resource. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit about complexity in writing. Complexity in writing is 5 levels like most of the other essential skills, and there's 3 dimensions to it. The first dimension is length and purpose of the writing. In other words, a low level would be a real short writing, and the purpose could be simply to remind yourself something. Right up to long writing that has a more complicated purpose. Like if you're convincing somebody, like you're trying to market something, that's complicated writing. So that would be a high level. Or if you're critiquing something. The second dimension is style and structure of the writing. It's a low level is informal, small audience. The audience could be yourself. And a high level would be where it's formal and technical, and there's more risk associated with it. There's a larger audience to who you're writing. So you're writing an email to a bunch of people, or you're writing something that's going to be published and people are going to judge it. And the third is content. So day-to-day routine stuff is low level. High level would be gathering and selecting information and then synthesizing it. In other words, you're taking knowledge, whether you research it or you already knew it, and you're putting it together. For example, if you ever had to write policy or even write a textbook or something. Okay, so I hope you learned more about the writing skill. I will be back soon with another methodology video about one of the other 9 essential skills. Thank you for watching.